But today, I'm the greatest of all time. Thank you.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Famous for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'll never stop it.
I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top,
I'm always flirting with pain, she like to hurt me and maim. I'm always working to change, but she's still lurking the same. I keep on building a dynasty while the haters be trying me, but they hate from inside.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to an edition of Unscripted, of course, here on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. Joining me here today to have a fun, spirited, heated, all these other adjectives you want to throw out there, debate topic about what we think are the most overrated franchises throughout all these sports we're going to talk about today. Help me out. It's my right-hand man, my guy, Jay McClellan. What's going on, Jay? How you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. It'd be better, I think, if the Astros would start winning a little bit more consistently.
Yeah.
Especially when the Yankees have knocked the Seattle Mariners down 2 games. That we could have really advanced on that, but it's okay. I still feel like we're going to be all right. But long season.
I understand. And before we get into it, of course, like I said, our topic today is going to be talking about overrated sports franchise. If you enjoyed this episode, guys, please be sure to go give us a follow on social media. We have a lot of big stuff coming in the works here very, very shortly. You're going to want to stay tuned and locked in so you don't miss a single bit of content. Of course, you can check us out every single week. Facebook, X, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. Also over on LinkedIn as well. Connect with us on a professional level. And also, if you're to come say hi and come get a shot on the podcast, a shot on the show, come over there and DM us. Well, Jay, let's get into it, man. Let's just open this up. No questions. We're just talking today, brother. Okay. Most overrated franchises in sports, and I'll let you start things off because before the show even kicked off, we were sharing a brain cell. I think we were saying we both had one team in mind that is frankly going to piss off one of our other guys here on the network, but we love them nonetheless. So I will let you. We'll just say burn that bridge. How about that? I'll let you start that fire. Go ahead, my friend.
You know, Logan. I was sitting there thinking a minute ago, and I was thinking about most overrated franchise, and we did say. Me and you collectively had said New York Yankees.
Correct.
Collectively. Because of all the money that they poured into that franchise. But Logan, I want to deviate from that if I can. I'm going to let you take care of the Yankees and why they are so. Okay. Because I actually think now, and I hate to say this is when you really start to introspect on yourself and your teams. This is what I was thinking about this, Logan. Overrated. Overrated means that you have this great team on paper, but you can't do with it anything on the field with it. It's just always disappointing. But another, I hate to say it. People are going to kill me for this. Dallas Cowboys.
So let's go with the Yankees first. Let's break that down, and then I'll let you grill your own franchise. How about that? So
yeah, absolutely.
I feel like with the Yankees, it has more so come to light in recent memory, right? We all know the teams were lights out in the 90s, right? They were tremendous. They won a lot of championships, as we know, the three-peat from, the 96, 98, 99, 2000. That was great, right? They snapped that streak, had won one prior since 1978. Like I said, they got one in 2000, Jay, and then they got one at the end of that decade in 2009. but correct me if the math is wrong here, Jay. 2009, in the year of our Lord right now, we are in 2024. That's 15 seasons.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
granted, at this moment, Yankees are looking good, but we're a quarter of the way into the season. But Jay, the thing that kind of strikes me isn't more so the fact that they haven't won a World Series since 2009, 15 years ago. It's the fact, for me, they have not won a pennant. They have not been to the World Series since 2009. You can get there and lose.
Yeah.
And people say you had a good run. Look at the 49ers in football right now.
Yeah.
But the fact that they have not been to a World Series in 15 seasons speaks volumes, I would say. And also, let's not forget, they were in a little bit of a lull period there in their own division in the East, because from 2012 to 2019, they didn't have any AL East champion or AL East crowns for those 6-7 years. So a bit of a down period at that time. But when you think, I mean, what is it you hear every single preseason, every single spring training, every single off season? The Yankees are going to the World Series. They're loading up their team. They're buying all these contracts. They're going. They're number one, baby. Well, it might have been that way, Jay, from 1923 through the 40s and 50s, but you need to look at the other years as well, right?
Yeah,
In 62 to 1977, long gap in between there. 78 to 96, that's a pretty large margin as well. And then 2009 to 2024, that is also a very substantial gap of a decade and a half coming up without even getting to the top prize in all of baseball, when this franchise is notorious for being, at minimum, I would say, top 5 in payroll for all of those 15 seasons I've mentioned. So that is our first team we have on the list. I will kick it back to you to talk about your Dallas Cowboys. And I will say, I did see a stat here, and I know that I'm sure you've seen it. Punch in the gut for Cowboys fans, I would say. But Jay, the current landscape of Dallas sports at this moment.
Yeah,
you got the Stars right now in the conference finals. You've got the Mavericks right now in the conference finals.
Yep.
And where's the Cowboys, Jay? I'll let you answer that question.
Yeah, so the reason why I think they're the most overrated team right now, and this is my team, this is my love, it's my passion, but I gotta keep it real. They are overrated right now. They are putting up, a slightly competitive product, but we haven't won anything since over 30 years. That's like 3 decades, which is more than probably any other franchise or a lot of other franchises out there. I'm sure there's a few baseball franchises maybe have gone a little longer, but I'm just saying the Cowboys, for all intents and purposes, are supposed to be America's team. They're supposed to be all these great things, but yet we're not really transcending it into the playoffs, but yet we're spending astronomical amounts of money. And that's why I feel like when you're spending the money and you're not getting the product in return that was promised to you, that's why they're overrated. It's a Jerry Jones promise. We're all in, but we really don't ever go all in. So that's why I got the Dallas Cowboys. And of course, you can look at a lot of their quarterbacks and just know that they're overrated, right? Every one of them's had an issue of some sort, except for Troy Aikman, God rest his soul, and Roger Staubach, God rest his soul, and Randy White. Other than that, we've had a lot of terrible quarterbacks here in Dallas for a team that's supposed to be America's team, and this is my team, and we should be America's team. Dang it!
I see what you mean. I feel you on that. And it's it's every season. It's the same stigma, because I saw there's always a quote I'll think is always going to be funny for the longest time, and it's always in the summer, which we're right around the corner from. Today's temperature, Jay, is just like the Cowboys, peaking in the 90s. I mean, I know. Look. If anyone's been a fan of this show, this network, since we've been on the airwaves for going on close to 5 years now at this point, poor Jay has just been a punching bag for Frankie. that is always the shot, the low blow that Frankie will go for.
Yeah.
Is how about those Cowboys, Jay?
Yeah.
And as we know, Frankie, the notorious Patriots fan, I don't know. He might be in a dry spell for a little bit too. The way that team's looking at that post Tom Brady, it ain't looking too hot. But we'll see. We'll see.
But look at those. Let's just take those Yankees for a second, though. I mean, he's so hyped up on them right now. And I get it; they're playing great baseball. But Logan, we've seen them play great baseball before, and only to falter at the end and get swept by the Astros. So come on,
Correct.
$303 million. You should be doing better.
I understand. Oh, so I think another one too, right? I would go back to baseball in a sense, and then I got one for hockey. We'll get to in a moment.
Okay.
Back to baseball. Also, another one we touched on before the show. That's the Los Angeles Dodgers, right? For the longest, we would say the Angels because they had the best player on the planet, and they didn't even make a playoff game with him. But that guy has since moved on, Jay, to same town, different colors. Mr. Shohei Ohtani, MVP, all that fun stuff. But the Dodgers, Jay, would you say they have overtaken the Yankees in terms of hatred in baseball in the last 5-10 years?
I think they've amped it up. I don't know if anybody can ever overtake with the Yankees, man. I mean, that's a hard one to do. But I will say that they probably do have they have had a little hate towards their way. So yeah, I mean, they're in that category for sure.
And here's the reason that I'll say the Dodgers, and I'll let you give your piece. I say the Dodgers, Jay, because throughout their illustrious, historic career, their franchise has been around forever. Right, since they've been in Los Angeles since the late 50s. They've only won as a team, as a unit, in their entire franchise's history, 7 championships, which, hearsay, you can say that's good, you can say that's bad, whatever.
Right.
But, from 1988, there was a large gap from 88 till 2020. Now, you might say, that's 22 years, right? That is a large gap. But let's also not forget this thing too, this important footnote in history. 2020 was the wildest year in all of sports. It was, of course, as we know, the COVID-shortened season, where the Dodgers, as a team, won 43 games and lost 17.
Right.
That, of course, as we know, is opposed. They played 60 games of the possible 162 due to just how the world was throughout that chaotic year. People are always going to say that for any championship team in that season, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, hockey. That team in 2020 will always have that asterisk. Because, for the most part, they didn't play full seasons. Especially in baseball, I feel. Because 60 games and 162 games is a very, very large gap. You can have guys get injured throughout those extra 100-plus games. Guys go down, guys get traded. Prospects come up. Do great, they fail. And I say that because the Dodgers aren't just one of the highest payrolls in baseball, but they're like the highest payroll for a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, they're up there with like Tesla money with how much they're paying all these players. It's like they just kind of, the owners just wake up out of bed one morning and they get the eye crust out of them with $100 bills with how much that team spends on money.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about that is, too, so you got what? I think it's like $600 million, I believe it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's either $600 million. Is it tied up between them? Because what was Ohtani's? I know
Ohtani's was, I believe, $600 million.
Okay, so they got $900 million, or a little over $900 million, tied up between two pitchers.
I'm pulling up their payroll right now.
Hey, and in one of them, they're even considering taking Ohtani away from pitching and making him just a straight hitter because of his batting average going up.
That is true.
How crazy is that? So they are absolutely just spending money. Mookie Betts, Clayton Kershaw, all these guys in the world that they have over there with all these monies, right? But yet they still haven't turned up a championship in what? How many years? What, 3, 4? Is it 4 years now? You said COVID, right? That's 2020?
Yeah, COVID was 2020.
Right. So that's like 4 years, and you still have not been able to produce. Don't even get me started on the Mets, Logan. We're going to go there next.
Oh, we will get to the Mets. And yes, I also pulled up. So the total payroll allocations that the Dodgers have at this moment, and they're behind. We're going to get to them in a second. The Dodgers are paying $316,913,712 for their payroll in this season. So we'll go ahead and go to the number one team, Jay. You brought them up. I think it's a good segue. The number one payroll in baseball, the New York Mets, $326,762,555. Number one in all of baseball in terms of how much they are paying their players. Jay, 4 players on their team are being paid $20 million or more for this season alone. Those players, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you see, good talent, A+ talent, out of these 4, right? 4 highest paid players on this team: Brandon Nimmo, Pete Alonso, Starling Marte, and Francisco Lindor. I would say only half of those guys are worth close to that money. And that, of course, is Lindor and Alonso. Right. Alonso can hit. He hits bombs, right? You pay him to hit home runs. Lindor is just a good player all around, I would say. But why in the hell are you paying $20 million to Starling Marte and Brandon Nimmo? They're not bad players. Don't get me wrong. They're starters, right? They're good players, but they are not $20 million worth. That's another story for another day. Why don't you let the people know, Jay, why you think the Mets are maybe the most overrated franchise in sport, perhaps?
Yeah, again, it goes back to the mantra of what the Yankees were doing, what the Lakers were doing, and so forth. It's trying to buy talent rather than bring talent up, right? And so they're spending these astronomical amounts of money and hopes that they'll get a championship. But when they don't, you just wasted all of that. My point is this: if you're going to spend that money and you're not going to give the people trophies for it, then you're over freaking rated. You're spending money where you shouldn't be spent. It's pure and simple. Look how much money the Mets have paid only to be in damn near last place. You're not even in second. You're damn near last.
And Jay, also, let's remember this too about these New York Mets. They had the chance, Jay. They had the chance to win a World Series almost 10 years ago, back in 2015.
Right.
And what happened to them? They blew it. They lost. And if they didn't lose that series, if they won that series, the other team who won that series would definitely be on this list. And that would have been the Chicago Cubs. Because we all know their streak. Everyone knew about that. But they broke the streak, and the Mets are still without a championship since 1986. 1986. They had 2 chances to win it, Jay. I forgot about this one. They had 2 chances to win it since then. They lost in 2000 to the team we talked about earlier in the New York Yankees in the Subway Series. You lost there. You lost in 15. And we all know the disaster this team went through a couple of seasons ago. I remember it personally, Jay. Remember the Mets were large. They were on top a couple seasons ago. They were looking great. They were 15 games, I think, ahead of Atlanta. And they had a huge lead.
Right.
And then what happened? I remember, to this day, they lost it. They lost it. And they did. They went through manager after manager, player after player, but God, they just can't get it done. And Jay, I think we'll just go for the trifecta, shouldn't we? Shouldn't we go for 3 for the teams in New York? Let's go over to a lot of people
before
say.
You go to the next, before you go to the next, that's what you're gonna say. Yep. Don't go there yet, because I honestly think, Logan, This year, or I would say since LeBron has joined the Lakers, are they not even the most overrated franchise?
Ooh. Well, the Lakers have only won a championship since LeBron has been there, and they've only been to the finals that season. And LeBron has been in the Lakers uniform since, I believe, 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Now,
And it wasn't a bubble.
No, now 2018, I remember I would say 2018 and 19. That was the Lakers front office in a sense, because I say this, right? That was when they had Lonzo Ball and D'Angelo Russell, I think, and like Larry Nance. They had a crappy team. Let's be real.
Right.
I'm right there
with you. Absolutely.
But I will say this. Since the pairing of LeBron and AD, right?
Right.
Only got that one championship. And they haven't been back. They've not been back. And I would say, right, I don't know if I could put a percentage for who to put the blame on for the two superstars, obviously, because that's just how sports media does it. You look at the big names.
Right.
But Jay, I would say this year, I could certainly say this year.
Right.
I would say the main culprit is not LeBron, it's Anthony Davis. And I say that, Jay.
Yeah.
I say that because LeBron is the oldest player in the league. He's the oldest player in the league, and he's still putting up He's still putting up numbers that people half his age don't put up. Anthony Davis, I'm not saying he had a bad season. I'm not saying that at all. He had a solid season. He was on, I think, first team all defense. But he cannot take over games. We see it once every so often, but not consistent to get them championships. And we saw that, obviously they are looking for a new head coach once again. So I can see why you want to put the Lakers in there. I can see that, because since they're kind of in a sense like the Yankees in a way,
right?
Because they went all those years without winning a championship after, Kobe in the mid or late 2000s, early 2010s.
Right.
Had all those seasons in between. Then LeBron got there. They finally won one in, as we mentioned earlier, the COVID-shortened season where they were in the bubble. And then, here we are 4+ years away, and they still have not gotten back to said championship. Now, we'll keep it in basketball. And like I mentioned, we'll go with the trifecta. Let's talk about those New York Knicks.
We love those Knickerbockers.
If it wasn't for this past run they were on, I would have said them earlier, right?
Right.
Because they were, I will say this, they were very impressive this postseason. And if there were not injuries to a lot of their stars, they might have went there. They might have gotten to the conference finals, but should have, could have won. That's just how life is. That's how the game goes. Jalen Brunson, I think he's probably the Knicks' best player since Carmelo Anthony, and I don't think he might even be better than Carmelo in New York. I don't even think that's even much of an overstatement with how well he's played. God, don't you wish the Dallas Mavericks had him right now? I'm just saying. But when you look at the New York Knicks, last time they got a championship, Jay, they only got two. They only got two of them in their history. Last one they got, I was 25 years away, give or take, from being born. That was 1973. I was born in 97. Granted, as we mentioned,
1 year old when the Knicks won.
Yeah. So we said with the Mets, they had, and it's also kind of fitting, I think, that both their colors are blue and orange, because they both had chances to win. Right? Because the Knicks, they won the conference titles in 94 with, of course, Patrick Ewing, and in 99. But, Jay, what happened? They could not get it done. Then when Carmelo got there, because then there was a couple of those lull periods, right, where they were down in the dumps. Then Carmelo got there. Remember they got Jason Kidd and Amari Stoudemire, all those guys, and that was supposed to be a big run. And they made it, they got into the playoffs, but they ran into LeBron and the Heat, who killed them. I mean, that was a good team. Yeah. But they haven't been back since this millennium. They haven't been there since 99.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I remember back in the day when even when the Rockets played the Knicks and the NBA championship, and we beat the Knicks, and I think, they played as hard as they could, but they just never could quite close that door ever.
Mm.
And even today, I mean, they still suffer the same issue, right? Millions of coaches have gone through there, dozens of superstars have gone through there, but yet they have not been able to produce anything.
That is true.
And I mean, that's overrated in my opinion.
No, I am with you 100%. But the team who I mentioned earlier, and the team who I saved for last, because if I mentioned, and just listen to this, Jay, we're gonna go up north. How about that? We're gonna go up north.
Okay.
We're not even gonna stay in the U.S. We're gonna head to a place where it's always cold, and that's Toronto. And I'm talking about that final logo you see here on the screen, number 4 there in the National Hockey League. Jan, we're going to be talking today about the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Now, they have won as a unit, as a team, 13 Stanley Cups. That's good. That's tremendous. Jay, you'll take a stab at when the last time they won a championship was. What year?
Oh, goodness. I don't even know. I would say maybe like 10 years ago. So it was like maybe like 2010, 2009.
Keep going.
Before then?
Keep going.
Oh, so we're like in the 1990s?
Oh, you got to keep going back.
Oh, 70s?
You're right there. You're right there. So the last time the Toronto Maple Leafs won a Stanley Cup, Jay, was the year 1966 and 67.
Wow.
1966 and 67.
Wow.
That is the last time they won a Stanley Cup. That is the last time they did it. So, I mean, look. And when you talk about, NHL hockey, you always think of the big Canadian teams who started it all, right? That's,
right.
They have the Canadians, so on and so forth, Canucks, all those teams. But yeah, I saw that and I said, okay, there's no way this team who was an original 6, with Boston, Chicago, I mistakenly said Vancouver, but I meant
right.
New York and all that, the Rangers. They've not won a championship since the late 1960s. And granted, we're not huge hockey fans, but we know that team is always competitive, always trying to get a championship. They have Austin Matthews, who is a great player. They also have Nylander, Tavares. All those are really good guys. Marner. But Jay, they couldn't do it this year. And the streak continues. 1966-67.
Wow.
And then there's an asterisk. Then there's a dash because we're still looking for the next one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I was thinking my last one would be the Phoenix Suns.
Ooh.
Lots of great players have gone through there.
Lots of great years. I'd say that because people, over time, Jay, they're going to forget. Yeah. But I would say every decade, Phoenix has had a chance to win it. In recent memory, right? In the 90s, Charles Barkley couldn't get it done. In the 2000s, Steve Nash and company couldn't get it done. And then this latest, I guess you could say iteration because it only lasted for a short amount of time. In a sense, the Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, Ayton era that is still just a mess. Devin Booker. So far, it ain't looking too good. But
nope.
It is. There's a lot of teams we could go on here. We could go for another 30 minutes if we wanted to, but we are going to cut this off because we want to hear from the fans, Jay. We want to hear from them, what they have to say, who their teams are. Did we list your team? Do you feel passionate about that? Did we not list who you think is the most overrated franchise? We want to hear it in our comment section. Of course, check us out, as we mentioned, on LinkedIn. You can also go over to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and, of course, check us out on all of those networks. Jay McLovin, appreciate it as always, my brother, coming on the show. I've been your host and producer, Logan Landis. Let's get over there. Check us out. We got some great shows coming up here next couple of weeks, so stay tuned, and we will talk to you guys on another live episode. Until you get in, go out there and watch some playoffs. We'll see you later.